Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm Dact. This is going to be Spyro the Dragon, the original for the PS1. Came out in 1998. I'm going to be doing 120%, so collecting everything. With me I've got Paso and Mara. I guess we'll get started and we'll go from there. So, starting the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. So everyone's favorite, originally green dragon.
Okay, rolling.
No green Spyro incentives this
Yeah,
year,
there's
though.
no color cheats in this game, unfortunately. Alright, so we'll be collecting a lot of stuff. That's going to be the goal of this game. There'll be 80 of these dragons, and then a whole bunch of gems as well. Nestor wants to speak to us for some reason. All of the dragons have a little cutscene after you collect them, but Nestor's is unskippable for some reason, so we get this one cutscene. But no more after that.
He's basically just telling you free dragons.
Yeah,
That's it.
if everything goes well, that will be the only cutscene in the whole run. Nice little technical thing there to open Sunny Flight right at the start. Step on all those stepping stones. And we run straight into a level that is not like the normal levels. This is a flight level. It's like a time trial. You just fly around collecting stuff. Have to get everything in one go around to get all the gems.
He's doing a little bit of camera manipulation there, so he's actually holding, I think it's L2.
Yeah.
And that actually affects the cycle of these planes coming up, so they're in the perfect spot for him to get them all.
Yeah, these planes, they don't just move all the time. Their movement is based on proximity and like camera position. I don't fully understand it. I just know a setup that works that gets them all in the right spots.
It's like me, just do the inputs and it works.
Yeah. To the point where you even have to like fly to the right of that last train in order to get the last plane in the right place. If you like cut the corner properly, the plane will be too far away for you to hit.
Yeah, you'll be sort of within its proximity and it'll keep moving even though you're not looking at it.
Yeah. Fly as low to the ground as possible to fly faster. That's just a thing in these flight levels.
And a neat thing that he'll be doing at the end of this when he hits this final chest, this is a theme you'll see in all the flight levels, is you're not supposed to be able to quit that quickly. Normally there's a little animation where he flies up and it...
Spyro does a big loop-the-loop.
Big loop, yeah. But if Spyro collides with something during that animation, it just kind of skips it, and then you can leave the level. So you want to be able to like collect the last item or flame the last item, and then pretty much immediately hit a wall or something, so that way you can exit immediately. So obviously a little bit quicker.
Yeah, so the way this game's organized, you have 6 homeworlds, which are like the hubs that you progress through linearly one by one, and then within each of those hub worlds, there's a bunch of levels that you can do in whatever order you want, so we can kind of route the homeworlds efficiently. This level has a cool out of bounds in it. Hopefully I can show off the cycles and everything.
Yeah, and it has some of the same cycle stuff that we just saw in the flight level as well.
Some unintended jumps there to skip the steps. Normally you'd have to climb those 3 times, but only have to do it once. And then...
Nice.
Yeah.
And based on how you run through the level, that guy that we kill there is on the right cycle to just jump straight down and get him.
And if I can do this section properly, I'll be able to get the other guy more quickly as well. Run to the right of this corridor. Not quite.
Not quite.
You can see I got close though. You might have noticed earlier as well, there was like a yellow, I guess people call it a vortex. It's like the return home thing. We don't need to use those. You do need to use one of them in normal circumstances because one of the levels doesn't open unless you do. but we'll be skipping into that anyway, so you actually don't need to use any of them.
Yeah.
You can just exit level once you have everything.
Yep. Yeah, there's a few that I think are used because it ends up being a bit faster than doing the menuing, but other than that, yeah, they're
Yeah,
pretty much unnecessary.
If you happen to be right next to the vortex at the end of the level, it is faster to go into it than to pause exit out, but it's usually not faster to like specifically route that.
Yeah, it's very rare that the fastest route ends right at the end of the vortex, unless the level is that linear that it just sort of ends up that way. So.
So this is Stonehill. This level's kind of renowned for being big and empty.
Yep.
There's a lot of like empty space between things. Cool little jump here though. That's obviously not intended. Jumping on the little fountain to get up here.
Yeah, it's an interesting one where you just hold jump, and normally it would throw you into an animation that you wouldn't be able to do anything from, but for some reason if you're holding X you just get a bounce up.
Yeah, and I'm holding jump as I go up these hills, which makes Spyro kind of skitter up them, which is faster than just charging up them normally.
Probably worth talking about flame charging as well. He's been doing that a lot. You'll notice him flaming enemies' chests. Not all enemies, but definitely chests that are sort of slightly out of his way, and he's still collecting the gem from them rather than you know, charging through them. So this game has a mechanic where if you flame a chest, let's just say a chest for example, if you flame a chest and then immediately charge afterwards, it will home the gem in as if you had charged that chest.
Yeah,
so
the general pattern is if you flame a gem container, whether that's an enemy or a chest or whatever, the gem just pops out into the air.
Yes.
But if you charge through it, the gem homes in on you.
Yeah.
So you can kind of do both at the same time, and the gem
allows you to cut corners.
You'll see it a lot more in the next level after this one.
Yep. It is an interesting one where pretty much every different enemy in the game has a different way that you need to flame charge them to make it work. But it's all mostly based around the different hitboxes and how close you can actually get to the center of them.
Yeah.
Have time for a quick donation?
This is not even... No, not even close. Yeah.
Yeah, if you thread the needle just perfectly, Spyro's hitbox is enough to just get every single chest there.
Especially since when you're like turning while charging, Spyro's hitbox is pretty wide.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of hit chests with the back of his... Oh, nice. With the back of his tail and stuff and still hit it. And down in this pit so we don't have to go back up the whirlwind to get out.
Yep. I guess worth pointing out about freeing dragons as well. Every single dragon, when you free it, Spyro will have a set location that he walks to start the cutscene, which we end up skipping anyway, but it shows that little animation anyway. It actually ends up being faster if you know every single location where you have to free the dragon, so Spyro walks back a little bit less. So if you free it from the other side, you're actually losing quite a lot of time.
Yes.
I don't know how much time it would be.
I think it can be up to like a second.
Yeah.
Like if you freed every dragon from the wrong, like completely the wrong
The
side,
opposite.
you lose over like a minute and a half or something.
It's wild.
But yeah, most of the dragons, thankfully, the best place to free them from is the direction we're
As
coming
you
from
come from
anyway.
them, yeah.
But you will see, I'll point out when I get to one where it's like very weird looking.
You also might think it's like hard to remember all of them, but it's actually, it just becomes muscle memory really, really quickly. So.
Yeah. It's really not to the point where, you know, I'm sure Dact couldn't place every gem on a map of Spyro, but you really just remember lines and directions that you run in that just end up collecting everything along the way.
Like you saw there, he could have just run directly into the dragon there, but he actually went around and sort of 90 degrees and hit it from that angle. So
Cool double flame charge here if I can get it. Yeah.
nice.
Time for a quick donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. We have $200 from Lynn Scott that reads Spy versus Spy. Thank you so much.
Spyro versus Spyro.
Please. This gem container is a fan chest. You have to flame it 3 times for it to break. That's just a thing. Like you can kind of do stuff in between the times that you flame it because you have a flame cooldown. You can't just spam flame. And it's also one of the more annoying things to flame charge as well. There's a lot of like gem containers in this game that they didn't maintain into the later games. There's like the spring chest as well that you flame them and the gem pops out of the top. Alright, cool little out of bounds here.
So it starts with a wall glide, which essentially if you glide along a wall at a certain angle, you can a lot of the time not lose any height or even gain height in this game. And then there's some standable ledges on the scenery there that you can get out of bounds and enter the portal from behind for Toasty.
This is the one I mentioned where you're supposed to need to have been through the like return home vortex somewhere in order to get in here. Yeah, I did get that, nice. But because we do the out of bounds, you don't need that. Nice gem RNG. Sometimes gems just pop out in very strange directions. This is also the first boss level. You will see the boss later, but honestly, these dogs are much more annoying than the boss. Like, they are much more dangerous.
Some cool little optimizations there where you can get the dogs to jump off the edge and their gems will just home into you automatically if that's the case.
So the thing on the NTSC version, not the PAL version of the game, is if gems fall off the edge of the map in the NTSC version, the game will just give them to you because you obviously can't collect them. If you're playing on PAL, sorry, that gem's gone. Re-enter the level.
Except in there's... I can't think of the level name. In Dreamweavers, there's one of the grenade...
Oh, Haunted Towers?
Haunted Towers, yeah. If one of those guys falls off, the gem just won't go to you, even on NTSC.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, because the guy is still stood there. He doesn't die. But yeah, in general, like, you do get gems, even on PAL, that fall off. It's just those dogs are, like, broken. It's something to do with making the gems, like, automatically home into you normally. Broke the behavior.
So that pretty much wraps us up for the first homeworld.
Yeah. So the way progression works in this game is you have these balloonists, and they require you to get a certain amount of stuff in order to progress to the next world. So to get past him, I needed 10 dragons. Obviously, I'm collecting everything, so it doesn't matter. But for an any % run of this game, you need to be very aware of the
the entire route is sort of based around meeting those at a minimum each time.
Yeah. So it's one of those kind of rare collectathon games where any % actually still requires collecting a lot of stuff. It's like half of the collectibles still required.
Yeah, just based on the way that the game is sort of put together. There's not really any way to skip homeworlds. Another wall glide there to get straight up to the flight level of this homeworld.
Yep. Night Flight's the only flight that doesn't have any cycles. All the stuff is stationary. The timer on this one is quite tight for some reason. Like, as long as I don't do anything monumentally stupid, I'll make it. But you can make a couple mistakes and actually be tough to...
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see like under 10 seconds left, which, considering how quickly you can do all the other ones, it's like, oh, that's cutting it a bit close. Yeah. So...
But again, it's all just about fly low and cut corners as much as possible. If you need to read donations or anything, this is a good time.
Yeah. For this event, HyperX are our major sponsors for this event, and it's terrific to have them on board to support the Game on Cancer initiative. HyperX makes fantastic headsets, microphones, keyboards, mice, and plenty more products. So no matter what you play, if you're into gaming, they have something for you. And we also have $20 from Jen saying, "This is the best prepubescent dragon simulator. Wish I could be in the crowd instead of sick at home. Run, run. I'm feeling a little winded."
Yeah, some of the dragon cutscenes have pretty meme-worthy lines. Oh, what? Okay. I'm gonna get that because there's a wall glide coming up that I may fall in the water for.
So a small little optimization when getting those eggs from the thieves. You want to be in the air jumping while you collect it because it'll sort of skip a little cutscene that it plays.
You have to mention after I mess it up. But yeah, another wall glide to get to this room more quickly. You can just go the intended way, standing on the scenery, and it's like a second slower or something. It's not much slower, but the wall glide is cool.
Yep. Yeah, and this really is a game of those small, like, yeah, it's only a second faster, but you do a whole bunch of those, and yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like enormous time savers all in one go. It's just optimizing your movement and doing all the optimal time, all the little route changes.
This game has a very high skill ceiling in terms of movement. It might not look super complicated, but when you see someone who's very, very, very strong at the game, it's just unreal. So
it's kind of hard to appreciate if you haven't played the game, the fact that Spyro doesn't actually control very well. Like, he's a bit of a tank, especially in this game. He moves in a straight line, he's fast, but trying to get him to like go around corners and like move back and forth is not the most straightforward thing. This is a good example of a dragon where you have to get him from the other side, which I did pretty well there. Otherwise you end up walking a really long path around.
There's something we haven't really mentioned with gliding as well. This game, you might notice that for most glides, he's sort of jumping in place, and I don't know if you can hear on the microphone or in the crowd, you might hear this like clicking noise every time he goes to glide. The fastest way to glide in this game is actually to charge just ever so slightly before you hit glide, because it gives you a lot more speed on the glide as well. So you kind of want to be doing that as much as you can.
Yeah, it also allows you to start your glide at a slightly higher point. If you just try and glide, normally Spyro will sort of sit down a little bit before the glide starts. And so it makes some jumps that otherwise wouldn't be possible as well by doing that.
Yeah.
You can also get a little bit of extra height right at the end of the charge glide as well by hitting charge right at the end. You might see them potentially a bit later on. But if you hit charge right at the end of the charge glide, Spyro's head sort of bops up just a little bit, and you can sort of bop him up.
Just get up onto ledges, Yeah,
a lot of those intended jumps where they're just out of reach, chances are you probably can get them. So.
Ooh, oh, that sucks. I was doing exactly
Yeah.
what Mark was saying, and charge at the end of the glide to make that, but I mistimed it a tiny bit.
Nice.
Thanks, Belcher. Yeah, so unfortunately I have to go all the way back around. And this dude, I would have normally collected his gem.
Yeah, dying has a respawns a lot of the enemies, so like he actually flamed that enemy coming on the way through, and usually there'd be a gem on the ground. So dying, rather obviously being bad for a speedrun, it also respawns enemies and maybe things you've prepared earlier. It's like I might have to do that again. So.
I do need to keep an eye on my lives just in general in this run as well. There's a few death abuses, like intentional deaths, and then there's a trick at the end of the game where ideally we'd like to have 0 lives for it. So just kind of keeping track. There's some lives that you can collect that don't really lose any time, so just knowing which ones you want to get based on how many times you've accidentally died and things like that.
Yeah, so a little unintended jump around the back there to collect all those gems without needing to come back down to this area.
Yeah, and another one coming up here as well.
Nice. That's very easy to just bonk and just fall off the edge.
Yeah. Definitely a tricky level for starting out. I think most people, once they get to a level, it's probably less so. But yeah, it's definitely one that's a struggle when learning the game.
Yeah, that jump up to that roof is also not intended.
Yeah.
That was one where he utilized, I think he just did a full jump and then sort of charge. That one, you don't even glide for that one. You just kind of use the charge
you can
for
glide,
that
but
little bit extra height. So, yeah. It's kind of just knowing exactly how much height you need for certain jumps and using the right technique, I suppose.
One of the rare uses of a roll. A technique that they got rid of in the later games. We just hit L1 or R1 and Spyro just like rolls to the side. It's not that useful, but in the places where it is useful, it's nice to have.
A lot of uneven terrain here, so he's going to be trying to hopefully stutter up a lot of this terrain. Flame charging. Yeah.
I love that.
That's a nice flame charge.
Yeah, I saw Deo do that and I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
So these birds are somewhat manipulatable.
Yeah,
I don't
messed up
really
the route.
understand how it works, but
Every time I figured it out, it didn't happen. Like, it just went back to not being manipulatable again. I'm like, okay.
I just messed up the route,
Yeah.
so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, the idea is you want to try and get the vultures to fly towards you as you can.
so that you don't need to do what
Which is
Dak
jump
did
up.
there with a small jump up.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
you can just charge straight through them.
Avoid that whirlwind or it takes you back up the cliff. And then there's that red gem there that I'm going to skip because the dragon cutscene spawns you right on top of it, so you'll just collect it automatically.
Similar thing in Stone Hill, I think, as well. The two
Yeah.
red gems at the dragon. No, not Stone Hill, sorry.
in Town Square, yeah. Yep. These enemies are complete RNG where they are, like where they are, and so sometimes you can very easily kill all three of them at once, and other times you end up having to go back for one of them later. There's not much, like, RNG, there's not much luck factor in this game at all, but that just makes the places where there is luck involved all the more annoying.
Yep.
Like the most first world problem is the gem
Yeah.
the gem RNG.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, this gem is positioned like
I think
half a meter to the left. I don't like this.
my favorite form of RNG in this game is flame RNG.
Oh yeah, so the flame hitbox is actually not consistent. It almost never matters,
Yeah.
but it's been
The one
proven
time it
a
does
few
matter,
times,
it's like-
yeah. You can kind of stand in a particular spot and just flame repeatedly, and eventually you'll hit a thing that's like kind of just out of reach. Is this the first pink gem of the run? Maybe it is.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any in whatever the first one was.
Artisans.
Artisans.
Yeah, so the gems have different values. The red ones are worth 1, the greens are 2, blues are 5, the yellow or gold ones are 10, and then the pink gems are 25. Doesn't matter in this case because we're getting all of them, but it's relevant in any percent
Yeah.
for sure. This is everyone's favorite boss, Dr. Shemp. The coolest guy.
Slight manipulation going on there. You see, he actually stood, yeah, right behind there. He's obviously invulnerable until he stops this
Hey,
animation.
look at those shades.
But yeah, he went obviously to that point on the second hit. He went right behind him so he could flame him pretty much almost immediately. And then, yeah, you just jump over his attack in the third one and flame him from behind. It's the quickest way of doing that. So.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different routes for that level, like leaving different amounts of stuff in the the first area until the end, but basically just get everything on the first pass now.
Yeah, I think leaving all the stuff right at the start was an old route, because I still do that.
Right, yeah, yeah. Ice Cavern is the longest level for a while. It's the longest level before before Dreamweavers, before the second to last home world, where everything gets really long. And it's had a few different routes over
Yeah, some quite interesting routing around this one. Because there's a locked chest, and the key for that is at a certain part of the level. The route really has to factor that in, and yeah.
Also, that dragon that he freed, there were 3 red gems there. He wants to try and free the dragon from the optimal location and also get all 3 red gems to home in. It's actually a lot trickier to do than it might sound, but
I just ran right past the dragon there.
Yeah.
You might be wondering why. It's just slightly faster to get later.
Yeah.
Just because of where it puts you after the cutscene.
Yep. Yeah, and so we saw the key that we got there, and then you end up down at the end of the level. And so we do a bunch of stuff here, leaving some for a second pass through.
Yeah. It is slightly risky to leave that dragon, because now if I die, I end up way back at the first dragon. Something, yeah, didn't point out, the dragons give you checkpoints. Just standing on a dragon statue or freeing one gives you a checkpoint. So like if I'd messed up that jump, I'd be way far back now, for example.
Dang, that roll off is
Yeah,
really nice.
That's a Saboom special right there. That's a really good route.
so somehow doing that jump twice is faster than doing it the
It's the
normal
same
way.
speed.
Is it
It's
the same
the
speed?
normal way. I
Okay.
just like it more.
I just see everyone do it, so I just assume it was faster. But it just kind of looks a bit weird that you're doubling back and doing effectively the same thing.
Oh, I got
twice.
the
Nice.
both of those.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you. But yeah, now we head through this area backwards, which just kind of makes things work out in general, but makes this area a bit weird. Oh, okay. Weird terrain. Where am I now? Okay, I'm here. So not a bad death by any means,
Yeah.
it's just another life gone. It's kind of
Yeah, you'll
annoying.
probably have to try and find one somewhere again.
Yeah, I'm on 2 now, I think.
No, there's 2 death abuses alone in one level. There's one in the home
Treetops,
world and
yeah.
treetops.
There's the, like, sometimes death abuse in Dreamweavers.
Yeah. Do you not do the death abuse
I
there?
go for the wall glide,
Okay, yeah.
but you don't always get it.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
It's also a very difficult wall glide, so...
When I have accidental deaths like that, I have to like check that I've actually got all the gems,
Yeah.
make sure I didn't skip anything. Another dragon that you have to get from the other side, or you end up walking around. Just because the Spyro's walking speed during that cutscene is really slow,
Yeah.
and so it's quicker to like charge around yourself. That was really nice. Those guys are also in random positions, and that ended up being very good. Alright, on to Magic Crafters. If you've got any donations or anything, good time.
Not yet, but as a reminder, we are AusSpeedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Game On Cancer, a charity which funds early career cancer researchers who are working across all areas of cancer research. If you would like to donate, you can go to donate.ausspeedruns.com, as well as Twitch revenue we receive throughout the event will also be given to the charity, which includes bits and subscriptions to the channel as another way to support Game On Cancer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sparks are sometimes just a bit lazy. Like
Yeah.
I think you probably saw the face we all just made. It's like, I don't know why that didn't home in.
So a cool thing with that fan chest is that the projectile that flies off the top, you can actually use to kill enemies. So that enemy there that sort of was bringing the wall up, you can use the fan chest to kill him from behind the wall, and then the wall will go down and you can get those gems without needing to go all the way around.
I think you normally get 88 gems there. I think I might have not.
I
got
think
a
one of
5
the
or something.
druids.
Yeah, like didn't home or
Yeah.
something. I'll have to go back.
So this level, again, very, very cycle-based.
Yeah, I'm trying to get up these stairs before they come back down. Nice.
Nice.
Easy.
The reason he was rolling there is just to put him in a better position when he finished flaming the fan chest. Yeah, it looks cool.
Again, using the cooldown of the flame to sort of reposition himself and prepare for the next line to take.
Also, a roll just kind of gives you perfect timing to let you know you can flame again too. So.
The thing about gem collecting in this game as well that changed in the later ones is that sparks will never pick gems up if you like jump over them. If you're in the air, then you just don't collect anything. Which is kind of annoying because ground movement, like turning on the ground, is really, really bad.
Yeah.
Like, really slow.
Spyro's hitbox also, or collecting hitbox, sort of gets bigger as he charges as well. So if you're walking, the area that Spyro will collect things will be smaller than if you're charging. So also I think the hitbox behind Spyro is actually like pretty large as well. So you might see him sort of run past gems, but then the gem will just sort of home in. It's just the knowledge of like, okay, I know exactly how far away I can be and what line I can take and still be able to pick up the gem. So again, it's just more about that optimization. So.
A cool little out of bounds here. Basically how the game works is a lot of the time if it's deemed to be not needed, they won't have collision. You know, you just have a visual plane there. And for some reason they just have a little bit of an oversight on that one that you can quite easily glide to and go straight through the wall there to get the thief.
If you've got the game, try that. The wall's just not solid.
Yep.
A lot of stuff in this game that you can't reach is actually still solid. Like this game particularly, tons of terrain that is solid, but for some reason
less so in 2 and 3. There's a lot more of those kinds of things. But yeah, in 1 it seems there's quite a lot of stuff restricting you. Like they actually they made a lot of those walls actually solid. That's just one of the few. So.
Alright, gotta go and check that I didn't miss.
I think it's one of those guys.
Yeah. I don't know why that didn't home. That was weird.
I don't think he.
I don't think. Yeah, exactly. There was some weird.
Weird hitbox stuff again.
That's where it comes in handy to have some experience and remember how many gems you get at different loading screens. So this chest here, it's a key chest. So you're supposed to get the key from further away in the level, but it's just a lot faster to just use the supercharge and go through it. I would hazard a guess that a lot of speedrunners of this game don't even know where the key is in this time world. Like, no one ever uses it. This level's really fun.
Yep.
A couple of different routes for this one as well, depending on how confident you are at some of the movement.
So these wizards are notoriously difficult to actually get flame charges on. Their hitboxes are just really weird. It's hard to get close enough to them without bonking.
Yeah. And this cycle, I'm pretty sure he's about... Yeah, I got the worst possible cycle there.
So the cycle you get for...
Nice, jump
Jump
input.
got eaten,
Yep.
Nice. By the down slope at the end of those platforms.
Yeah, that's another fun thing about Spyro 1. Sometimes when you're charging downwards and you try and press jump when charging down, it will just not give you that input. So, not all the time, but just sometimes.
And there's a large section of this level where if you fall off the edge, you don't die, because the fairies just like come and pick you up. But That was not
that's
part
sick.
of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a
Yeah,
thing.
look at it. It's such a cool little route.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky to keep your supercharge up that bridge, but if you know the setup, it's not too bad.
Yeah, supercharging those fireworks chests obviously a lot faster than flaming them, waiting for all of them to explode and collecting all the gems. You can just sort of hit through them once with the one supercharge, all three of them, and they just pop all the gems out at once. So.
And then the very well-known trick here, ferryless, or it has some other names that I won't repeat on stream. But yeah, just kind of getting through the hole as the druid closes it with the supercharge. You're not supposed to supercharge through that cave in that direction.
Yeah, the idea is you're supposed to get this super flame power up to kill these armored spiders, or but yeah, you can supercharge through them if you and will still kill them if you can.
You're supposed to like supercharge through this cave and use the fairy kiss to go through the other one, but we just do it the complete other way around.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And the whole point being around minimizing the amount of times we need to get kissed by the fairy because it takes a long time and is out of the way.
Yeah. The other route uses the supercharge for a lot longer and skips the fairy entirely, but you have to do some other stuff slower to make that work. So it ends up being about the same speed.
Halfway through.
Oh yeah, in terms of number of dragons, yeah, we're not halfway through the run yet, but the levels get longer, considerably longer as the game gets, as the game progresses.
Yep. Another fan chest kill, this time on one of the egg thieves, which you don't even see on screen there.
There's an egg thief there. If you didn't know.
I promised there was a thief there. We haven't really talked about supercharge, like what it actually is, but these ramps with the arrows on them, they give you supercharge, which is this state here where you're just going really fast. And the mechanics are a bit weird, like the longer you go on the ramp, the faster you go, but also jumping and charging onto the ramp makes you get faster quicker, and there's some other random quirks of it as well that I don't entirely understand. But generally, anytime there's a supercharge, there'll be some kind of unintended trick that you can do with it.
Yep.
Yeah, like Dak was saying, the levels generally get quite a bit longer as you go on, and then you reach treetops with all the supercharged things, and it's like one of the shortest levels in the game. So, yeah.
I know why that didn't home. I pressed X to like flatten my angle like right as I went through it, and so it didn't count as charging through it for some reason. That's a thing.
These guys are really satisfying when you do get the flame charges on them.
Again, you're saying these things after I missed them. Let's rub it in.
Just keeping you in check, Dak.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get this because I'm short on lives, and it's very quick.
So that's one of the examples of jumping into it. You can then also keep it through this, and
yeah, you can get a little ramp boost off there, which I'm gonna go for again because I need stuff that's up on that ledge. I can't just not do it.
Yeah, the thing with this, the way this level route works is you have to actually go for that. Hey.
Thanks.
nice.
So there were
Oh no! The whole point of doing the like supercharge to
Yeah.
get all the gems through the wall is that you can just get that guy like instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Mart was talking about with the your hitbox or Sparks' sort of collection range when you're changing, also changes quite significantly when you're supercharging. And so you can sort of push Sparks through the wall, and he'll say, oh, there's a bunch of gems here, and grab them all through the wall.
Yeah.
Doing this makes you get up to maximum supercharge speed, like instantly,
Yep.
so that you can make this jump in one
yep.
ramp, which is not supposed to be possible.
Actually got to be a little bit careful now because there's a couple of unintended deaths. He's on 0 lives at the moment, so another...
Am I on 0?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I thought I had one more.
You had one and then you had to do an intentional death abuse. So
Oh, yeah, I had the death abuse.
Yes.
Right, I forgot about that. Okay. Alright, not a great wizard peak, but it's not an easy level.
yeah. Yeah, the level difficulty really ramps up from Magic Crafters, so...
There's a skip here that you won't really see, but there's a dragon outside of Crystal Flight. But yeah, so the way portals work is they don't properly unload the level and start loading the next one until the camera has gone through the portal. And so you can kind of get the camera a little bit stuck. So Spyro goes like really far through it before the level deloads. And in that case, you can go far enough to actually touch that dragon statue that's outside of the level. You don't see anything, but that it counts as collected as soon as you touch it.
Yeah.
And then the level just deloads straight away, and you skip the cutscene, which is like 7 seconds saved.
Yeah. And so then we'll come out of this portal just now, where if we hadn't done that, you then run straight into the dragon and go through that cutscene.
Yeah. Also,
from the wrong side of the
exactly.
dragon
Yeah,
as
Get
well.
it at
Yeah.
the least
Extra
optimal
long.
spot,
Yeah.
so it's...
Whereas instead here, Dact will come out of the portal and just charge on down to Blowhard.
Again, skip the loop animation by just flying straight into the bottom of the arch.
Yep.
And...
Oh.
Didn't get it.
yeah, okay.
If it was done correctly, there wouldn't be a dragon there, and then
Yeah.
you could go through. But that's how...
In theory, that's what happened.
Dak was just showing how slow it could be. You know.
Time for a couple of donations.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have $2 from Matt13 that reads, Yo.
Yo,
as well as $50 from Xander Toaster. Love the spy game theme this morning. James Bond, Spy vs. Spy, and now a couple of Spyro runs back to back.
I already made
Donation
that joke,
goes to
Xander.
runner's choice.
my choice
Thanks,
goes
Evan.
to the auto-scroller incentive for Vice City. You're welcome, Jimmy. Alright, another boss level. This one's really like linear and very packed with gems to the point where even in any percent, we get basically everything.
Pretty
in
much
this
everything.
level.
I think you missed like 3 gems or something.
Yeah, you skip the 2 at the very end and then maybe one of the ones in the corner
Yeah.
before this room.
It's worth pointing out that every homeworld you go to, every level has more and more gems in them. So even in things like any percent, you skip a lot of the like early levels gems if you absolutely don't need them.
Yeah.
It's just so slow to get
Yeah,
them.
because the gem density just ramps
Yeah.
up so much.
Yeah, yeah.
Like each homeworld adds 100 gems to each level.
Yeah,
So by the time you're getting to Dreamweavers, there's like 600 or 700 gems in each level.
yeah.
Alright, 0 lives. I think I know where I can get one quickly. This one in Terrace Village, that's pretty
Yep.
quick.
So yeah, Beastmakers is one of the worlds where you start to see the difference between maybe some not so much newer runners but less confident runners as opposed to experienced runners. It gets pretty hard from here on.
Yeah, and I think naturally for a lot of people becomes that sort of past the early game where people will get very good at early game because of resetting and just playing it more often. This is really where the difference starts to come in for a lot of people.
Yeah. Where boys become men.
This level is on some pretty ridiculous cycles with the electric floors. If you go for like the best possible cycle, you need to play the first half-ish of the level pretty much perfectly.
Perfect, yeah.
I will not be getting that because I missed that. We'll pretend it's just because I missed that. How did I flame charge the further one and not the closer one? But yeah, all these electric floors are on cycles, and we'll see what happens.
And one of the few ones that are actually a global cycle, I think, right?
I've heard that from someone like this week, and I don't think that's a
I'm not
thing.
sure. Maybe
When you say global, you mean like counts even when you're not in
Oh,
this level?
no, I was just talking about, like, I think everywhere in this level, that once you're in the level, they're running, right?
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I was thinking in the like crash sets where they're running like even when you're not in the level.
Yeah.
Oh, great jams.
Nice.
Alright, well, I can go for some good cycles here then. Kind of lined up.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a tight cycle to hit.
Yeah. That flame charge may have seemed completely unnecessary because I was right next to him, but there's a chance that if I hadn't, I wouldn't have got it. Ah, yeah. The cycle wasn't over when I got the dragon, unfortunately. Where I have to just go around. That's annoying.
Nice flop.
Time for some reads.
Go ahead, yeah.
We have $10 from Sheffy that says shout outs to the Burley Boys. And we'd like to thank HyperX for being our major sponsor for this event, and it's terrific to have them on board to support the Game On Cancer initiative. HyperX makes fantastic headsets, microphones, keyboards, mice, and plenty more products, so no matter what you play, if you're into gaming, they have something for you. Thank you.
So pretty cool little optimization there with the fireworks chests. You can charge through one and then, you take damage in the water, and then while you're still invulnerable from that damage that you take, you can charge through the fireworks chests to break them without taking damage.
Yeah, you sort of graze the first one and then bonk on the second one. The old strat, you bonked the first one and then bonked the second one. You still only took one damage, but it's a little bit faster to do it.
Yeah,
do it that way because you can hit two of the fireworks chests more quickly.
Yep.
So
I'm going for a pretty tight route in this this flight, which I have not been getting very much in practice recently. So fingers crossed, I guess.
yeah, it's more the second.
Yeah, the first part
route.
you just have to do quickly, but
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, nice.
Well.
Oh, I missed
Alright.
both of them. Right. You have to get both of those planes like right on the edge of your
Yeah.
flames to make it. This one I can just back up, but one of those planes that I missed is going to be quite annoying to get. I got absolutely destroyed. Oh my god. The plane, after I killed it, pushed me down into the water. Oh, that is heartbreaking.
That's, yeah, devastating. So the route is probably about a second behind on restart, so it should be a little bit more manageable here for Dak.
Yeah, I haven't done it on restart in a while. I don't remember if anything's different, but we'll see.
It makes it a little annoying for like practice sake as well.
Oh yeah, these guys are really easy.
Yeah. Because yeah, you can be like, oh, I'm just gonna, I'll practice the flight levels. I'll just restart. It's like, oh yeah, I can hit this easily every time.
Yep.
And then you go to a run, it's like, why is this so much harder now? Because yeah, as Pastor was saying, the cycles are about a second back. So.
Or I think it's less that the cycles are a little bit back and more, for some reason, Spyro starts
Or they load you in a bit further, that's right,
exactly.
yeah. I guess also that it might not have been super noticeable, but Dak sort of held back a little bit before going up that whirlwind from Wild Flight. That whirlwind's a bit funky. It doesn't spawn right away, and you would think, oh, I'll just like stand where the whirlwind is and wait for it to spawn, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't work. You have to actually wait for it to spawn and then go into the area where the whirlwind is to actually go up.
One of the trickier levels here because of the quite annoying enemies. So we've got these frogs, which are horrendous.
Yeah, it tests your flame charges, killing these frogs. 'Cause
Yep.
a lot of the time, if you just try and charge through them, they'll hit you first.
Oh yeah.
One of the few enemies that can do that. Also, there's only one. Oh, sorry. There's two fodder, two like things that you can get health from in this whole level, and one of them's right at the start. So, and lots of things that can hit you.
Yep.
Right.
And yeah, as soon as your sparkless gem collecting becomes an absolute mission, and so given we need all of them, it's obviously best to keep sparks.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see sparksless collecting, but...
Yeah, now that I've got a couple lives, it might just be Death Abuse if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let that boar kill a few of the frogs, kill a few of the enemies. Good old Bubba. So this bit of platforming is tricky. If you fall down, you have to go all the way back around, and it's very slow. Nice. Okay, good.
And yeah, obviously the fastest way to climb stairs is to jump charge, so it's quite easy just to charge a little bit too much, bonk into the wall, and you just fall off. It's
Yeah.
like, ah, awesome. So...
Left one of these frogs. He's ended up in a really good position, so that's nice. Couple more things to get here, and we'll enter the room that the community affectionately calls Guantanamo Bay. It's just full of enemies that will destroy you. Going in on blue is already kind of risky because getting hit multiple times here is completely normal.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
Because you have to, like Dak was saying, you ideally have to flame the frogs because they will hit you first if you try and charge them. But there's also armored enemies in there that you have to charge. So you have to alternate between flaming and charging to be able to hit all the enemies. But because they're in such a concentrated area, if you mess up, like even slightly, something's going to hit you.
Yeah,
So-
or you'll be attacking one, and then there's another frog that's
Yep.
only off to the
Yep.
other side, and he's just going to hit you straight away.
Yep.
There's not
And
really
the armor
anything you
guys'
can
hitboxes don't exactly match up with what they look like either.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very easy to take a lot of damage there. So that ended up being okay.
Yeah. You kind of expect to take at least one hit normally.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
And yeah, here's the aforementioned treetops.
Yeah, lots of supercharging, lots of breaking the level. Okay.
He's going to start off pretty normal, but
Oh.
yeah, that can happen. Yeah,
No comment.
yeah.
So because we're in front of the thief here, all of these guys are still going to be sleeping.
Well, that guy's really far around the corner, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So now we reach the supercharged ramp section of the level.
Yeah.
This is where stuff gets fun.
So we want to supercharge through fan chests wherever we can, because it means we don't have to flame them 3 times.
Yep.
Yep, and something unique to Spyro 1, again, is that when you're supercharging, if you supercharge through things, the gems will actually home in. In the later games, that isn't the case. Nice.
Yeah, so he kind of went off to the side there. If he went straight off the top there, he would have been able to break that that strong chest, but he wouldn't have been able to hit the spring chests like he did. So he sort of goes off the side to keep his height low enough to be able to, to hit those. So
Yeah.
That jump
and
is
then-
also unintended.
Unintended, yeah.
There's you need to you want to like jump onto the ramp and then jump off the ramp after you've left it, like
Yeah.
after you've actually gone off the end.
yeah, the timing of the jump is actually it's quite tight and it's quite weird because you have to feel like you're gonna charge all the way off and then you jump.
Yeah, to do
and
it
that's
in-
the only way you can get the height.
Yeah, to do it with a normal charge jump like Dak did there, it makes it quite tight. You can give yourself a bit more room by doing a full jump
Yes.
into the supercharge ramp. But again, looking at all those little seconds that you can save all over the place.
Yeah. Like climbing 2 steps at once there.
Time for a quick donation.
Go ahead.
We have $150 from Upjohn, who says Spyro has always been a great speedrun to watch, especially when run by these 2 legends. Put this towards the Elder Scrolls 3 live tutorial.
Awesome.
Someone is paying Upjohn too much money.
I realized I said yes to that donation right as I was about to do an actual thing that I should have explained, so that's my bad, but there was a little supercharged jump off the scenery there to get up to the top level.
Yeah, similar to in Wizard Peak,
Yeah.
where you ramp off the scenery to get to that area. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different outcomes there. Even if you get it, you can get different amounts of those fan chests with the supercharge as well. So you have a few different strats for clearing up the top area. This is by far the best boss level.
Yep.
The boss actually is kind of interesting in how you fight him, and then the rest of the level is fun as well. Grab the key. Cheeky wall glide?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
that was a cheeky one.
It was.
Cheekiest I've seen. Might want to get this life as well.
No, I've got one, which is about right.
Yeah.
There's no more death abuses and like intentional ones until Twilight Harbor, I think. but there's that one in Dreamweavers that I might have to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, come on.
This guy's bodying
This
you.
guy. Okay.
It's actually insane.
Gem. Okay. Metalhead cycle
Looking
might
forward
be
to these
messed
cycles,
up
yeah.
now, yeah. 'Cause it like the boss's cycle doesn't start when you enter the level. It kind of starts a bit
As
before
you
here.
sort of go across that wooden bridge, I think.
That's what I've heard. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But yeah,
No, this
these.
cycle's not
So
good.
we need to charge through these when they're green, and normally, if you do it right, you just can go through all of them in one quick go. But that was not so bad.
No, not
Good-
too bad.
yeah,
We did
good
get some help from Metalhead, breaking a couple of them there as well, I think.
Yeah.
He sort of throws enemies at you, and they can also break them if he throws them through his things.
There was a period of time years ago when I was playing on a like 50 hertz only CRT, so I was playing in black and white, and this was impossible to do properly in black and white. Cannot tell the difference between red and green. Probably not the best for colorblind people either.
Also something Dak did there as well. All those gems sort of popped out like out at once. He did a little charge beforehand into where those gems popped out, and that allows the gems just to sort of home into Spyro all at once rather than scattering all over the place. So it's a little bit quicker. So.
Yeah, you can do that quite a lot with like strong chests and bosses and everything where you get like multiple gems popping out.
Yep.
You can even like roll into the thing as it's
Yeah, I think
popping
one
out.
of my favorite ones is in Magic Crafter's Homeworld, where you get the pullback on the
Oh, you
supercharge
pivot,
to like pivot.
Yeah.
But timing it can be a little risky.
No.
Not quite. Tight cycle.
Yeah. And I have to wait for this guy now as well.
Yeah.
Have to jump onto that gem because as soon as you talk to the balloonist, everything in the level freezes, including gems that are homing into you.
You can see the one still sitting there.
Yeah, the number. I've definitely not landed on that gem and then realized, talk to the guy,
And then go on to the
intended to
next-
cancel and go and get it, and accidentally just picked to go to the next world.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure have.
These are some great deaths. These are bespoke. So yeah, now I'm on 0, but there is at least one very quick life to get in Haunted Towers, so no big deal.
Yeah, as Dak was saying, he will need at least, well, ideally, one life.
I definitely need one because I will be probably death abusing
Possibly,
after
yeah.
this level.
That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
probably.
There is this one, but it takes a bit of time to get, whereas the one I'm thinking of in Haunted Towers is
Right at the
literally
path,
no detour. This is my favorite level in the game. There's just a lot of fun movement, lots of flame charges, lots of just technical stuff, but the enemies are like not unfair.
Yeah.
For sure. Precursor to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. That's a spoiler.
Not unfair. We'll keep that in mind. It's also one of those. It's very punishing, particularly in the second half of the level if you take a death. Very punishing.
So making that cycle there with the fairy kiss. So when you get kissed by one of those fairies, they give you a super flame, which lets you break these doors and then the armor things as well. So making it to that door that I got to with the first fairy kiss is tight. And then we're basically just heading straight to one of the particular fairies that gives you a permanent power up.
Unless you die.
Yes, but if you die, you lose that and you cry.
Yeah.
You can still complete the level without getting it again,
just-
but it's just so
yeah,
slow. You
such
have to
a-
get all the temporary ones and yeah.
So yeah, I'll be red for the rest of this level as long as I don't die.
Yeah. Also, for anyone who played this game and could never figure out how to get to the Haunted Tower secret area, that's how you do it with the supercharge.
Yeah,
So
that was
it's-
the intended way to get here
Yeah.
with that supercharge. That wasn't a skip.
Time for a couple more donations.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have $200 from Zoomy G that says, "I love the Spermies. Hashtag nerf rip."
Love you too, Zumi.
And $20 from Neo _ that says, "Spyro is one of the games of all time, especially when run by these legends." Which
Thanks,
those
Neo.
two donations have now actually brought us over $7,000.
That's
So it's a
wild.
good job, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for all the generosity, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can. Ideally, you'd want to be flame charging these guys to be able to get their gems, but these are some of the harder enemies to get the gem
I'm like
from.
fat fingering X, and so I'm getting jumps that I don't want, which is ruining my flame charges. That's sparksless, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was not my intent.
Easy.
Yeah, it's just this
This,
strong chest is
yeah.
gonna be gross.
Yeah.
There's mushrooms up on the next bit. But
Yeah, so this is what happens when you don't get them all to home in. That was actually
That was
a really
pretty
good
nice.
grouping. That's
Yeah.
surprisingly good. So
Oh, okay. And then get both of those. Okay.
yeah, Sparks' movement, like, it helps to be like confident enough in your movement to do it. Ideally, you don't want to be doing it, but it.
Yeah,
it's
people have done like sparksless 120% for practice,
yeah,
which is
insane.
masochistic.
Yeah. Too much free time on their hands.
Yeah, I'll go for a wall glide here that will let me kind of... No. I could have glid across to the platform you could see off in the left, and it would just speed up the homeworld route and change the level order a bit, and save a life as well. So I'm back on 0 now.
Yeah. It's tough, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saves like 6 seconds if you get it.
Yeah, it's a wall glide where you can't really line yourself up until you're well into the glide and around the corner. And so it's quite hard to, be as precise as you need to be with it.
These dogs make the best sound effect in the game. Like, how can you get better than that?
And when we're talking about unfair enemies, the turtles, that's it.
Yeah. It's very easy, particularly for newer runners, just get absolutely... Like, you can go from gold sparks to, like, death really quickly. You can get a bit flustered when you get hit. They could just hit you if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real fun. It's a really tough level, just because of the enemies.
Yeah, they are mostly like manipulable, but it's it can be a little bit inconsistent sometimes.
Yeah, Dact mentioned it before with some other enemies, but there are ones where they can just, like, if you're not able to dodge their attack, it will hit you.
Yep.
Not one that you can just charge through a lot of the time.
Nice.
Sometimes one of those armadillos can just hit you, even though you feel like you do it correctly, like Dak did.
It's not a big deal if one of those guys hits you,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But it's just one of those things. Like, I feel like I did that right, but it still hit me. So yeah, good.
And then here you kind of lure that guy. Oh, you lure this guy into shooting at you, and he obviously has a cooldown on his attack, so he can't hit you again afterwards.
He actually got hit by the archer, I think.
Yeah, I did.
So
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he actually waited at the bottom of the stairs there for that enemy's death animation to finish, because that death animation is so huge that you can't actually sort of
Yeah,
go
it's
around
very
him
rare
until
that
it
you can actually
disappears.
pick up the gem out of the while
Yeah.
he's still there.
Yeah. Nice. That's a tough for him.
Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah.
pretty much what I was going for.
Yeah. Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, really well played.
Still 0 lives. I need to remember that. Especially since there's a jump here that can be tricky.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably the least bad game over to have. The
yeah, for sure. When these guys are big, there's no way to kill them, and so you just have to wait. There is a cannon in this that I'm heading for that can shrink them, and you have to do that for 2 of the enemies because the guy who's up there at the moment doesn't shoot them.
You also saw another slightly unintended jump. He actually went to the side of the... So usually like 2 or 3 whirlwinds that take you up to, I think, this platform, is it?
Yeah.
And then you can go down and get the dragon. But he sort of went to the side of that that whirlwind platform and got to jump straight to the dragon, which is a little bit quicker. So, and then another slightly unintended jump up to the cannon.
Yeah,
So.
you can skip past those 2 guys, but we need their gems for this category, so you have to go up and shoot them. That was...
Oh, spin jump.
mistake. You can make this. Yeah.
Nice.
You have to show off the spin jump.
Normally you would stand on that as it's raising up, but because I kind of got the life and didn't quite do that in the right order, I had to spin jump up there.
Yep.
Spin jumping is something we haven't seen. Again, you can sort of, with a standing jump, something to do with Spyro's tail or something, I think is the theory. If you sort of jump from like a 180 degree and then just sort of hold jump and rotate.
Yeah, basically,
up.
Spyro's
The
hitbox
shape of the
is
hitbox.
like
Shape of the
higher
hitbox,
at the
yeah.
back because of where
Yeah.
just the shape of
So
it.
it can sort of just push you up just enough to make a couple of jumps.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not used very often, but
Yeah, that like I don't think there's any uses of it in this category
Is
other
the
than
dry canyon?
yeah, dry canyon.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that, so I
No,
forgot
but
about
yeah.
it. But yeah, that is a thing.
It's
I think
also only
that's-
faster if you do it quickly and first try.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you're really confident in it.
So
Yeah.
this flight level's quite interesting in the way that it's sort of put together to finish with the
Yeah.
cutscene skip.
Yeah, you could see he left that train so he could do that because there's no way to really end it quickly on those flying enemies because there's no collision
you
he can run
can,
into.
but it's quite a difficult thing to get.
It's a risk. You basically, I don't know if there's another way, but if you pause and
This is
exit
working,
right
yeah.
as you kill
Yeah.
one of those guys, it counts as having killed them.
Yeah.
But you can't really tell when you pause whether you got it or not. And so if you didn't hit it yet, then you just have to redo the whole thing.
One of the trickier levels in the game.
There's a
lot of-
million routes for this level.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
There's also a couple of spots where it is a bit laggy as well and can, if you're not aware of it, it can drop some inputs.
Yeah. A lot of people will charge glide this jump. I do not because I
Yeah.
consistently get dropped inputs
Really?
there.
Yeah.
and-
Okay.
No, I always just do the charge for it. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Cool little damage boost here. You bonk into the wall and get hit by the arrow, and then it knocks you up here so that we don't have to come back to this area later.
Yeah.
He also used the invincibility frames to hit the fireworks chest as well, so he didn't take 2 hits of damage.
Oh, I wanted that red gem.
I guess also worth pointing out, maybe it's obvious to a lot of people, but when Sparks is collecting fodder, Sparks is not collecting gems, so it kind of helps to be on gold Sparks if you can, just for that reason, just in case you accidentally hit a fodder and you need to be picking up gems.
Yeah, thankfully in this game, if you're on full health, Sparks won't pick up butterflies.
Yes.
He knows that he's on full health. In the later games, if there's a butterfly there, he will go for it, even if you're on full health.
Nice.
Yeah, this route, for some reason, that cycle is just always good. With this route.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any manipulation or anything. But another supercharge thing coming up. I'm quite worried about this. I was failing it a lot in practice, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, this is a cool one. I remember when this one first came into the run. Yeah,
Good.
really
Nice.
Yeah. So you use the supercharge to break the fan chests on the island, which saves time from not having to flame them, and then you also use it to jump across to this area without freeing all the fairies on the other
You also
island.
got that balloonist gem as well, because it just happens to line up really well. So
Oh, I didn't mean to get a fodder there. We do have to get these fairies though, there's not really... I mean, you can get up to that island with the vortex, but you need supercharge, and I used the supercharge for something else. But there are routes where you use it to get up here instead.
Which are just ridiculous. Like,
Yes.
getting up there with supercharge is not an easy feat.
there's two ways to get up there, non-intended, and both of them are stupid.
Yeah.
So the other one's using one of those flying enemies to get hit 3 times. So you take all your sparks. It's very, very hard.
This lofty actually went pretty dang well.
Yeah.
The only red spring chest in the game. Just have to call it out. Yeah.
Very good.
But the level we have remaining in Dream Weavers is my least favorite by a mile. You can crash the game here if you flame the fireworks chest that I'm about to hit, and then go for the dragon. And if the dragon explodes, well, if you get the dragon on the same frame that the fireworks chest would explode, the game crashes.
Yep.
And technically it's faster to do it that way around, and so
Yeah.
most people do not do that. Alright, so there's a bunch of platforms in this level that, like these guys with the clocks on them, you can't kill them, but if you flame them, they make platforms rise and stuff move. And so a bit later I'll be on some kind of tight cycles with those.
Yep. Yeah, and another one of the just super technical levels because of all the small subtle movement and different things you need to do with these guys. So we skip flaming one of them there, and then do the same thing here.
Oh, yeah, nah.
Got a little bit of a stutter, I think, off the top.
Yeah, it's
cake
just a bad
thing.
flame charge,
Yeah.
a bad charge glide. My hand's a bit sweaty.
Arm spaghetti.
So I'm just gonna get both of them.
Yeah, the idea is for most areas there's like usually a clock, clock guy that you flame, and then you want to try and collect as many things as possible before the platform disappears. So it's the fastest way of doing it, but obviously it's a little bit risky if you're not confident in your movement.
Skip that dragon again, like the one in Ice Cavern. It's just slightly quicker from the positioning in the cutscene to get him later on the way back.
Also, again, makes this level scary because if you die, you still spawn back at the start of the level, so because you don't have a checkpoint as of yet. Yeah, a lot of those platforms going up to Jacques is I've flopped off trying to jump to the next platform many a time, so...
Getting flame charges on a lot of these guys is pretty important. It becomes quite awkward to try and get their gems off of their platforms if you don't get that.
Alright, I made it. So this thing was the kind of tight cycle. You leave quite a lot to do while that, like before that comes back on.
Yeah.
If you do miss it, you can jump up onto it while it's raised, but it's not easy. It's kind of inconsistent.
And if you're not consistent about doing that, you just collect a little bit more beforehand. So that way you don't have to collect as much before the platform gets raised. It makes it obviously a little bit slower, but it's way safer. So
skip this guy completely with a wall glide here. That was
you
high.
nearly
did. I didn't get any height from that, but it's not. It's a pretty forgiving wall glide.
Nice.
Alright, so that is, we're into the final world, into Nasty's world. There's only 4 levels here, and you have to do them in order. There's kind of unlock as you progress. And they're all pretty tricky. Nork Cove is just, has lots of awkward movement. Twilight Harbor's fun, and then Nasty Nork is the boss level with a big skip in it, and it's just...
Twilight Harbor, again,
tricky.
really, really hard, but it's super satisfying when you do it well.
Yep.
But first we have to get through Nork Cove.
Yep.
Which, even when you do it well, isn't much fun.
The balloonist we never talked to, poor hack. Unless you like forgot a gem earlier in the game and have to go back for it. But
Wouldn't you go through the menu anyway?
Yeah.
It'd be faster. It's literally obsolete.
I don't know why I was holding jump there. I was holding jump for no reason.
Nice.
I just felt like starting on blue spot.
It's hard mode.
So there's a bunch of these guys with the armor that you... Oh, come on. You have to break their armor either by hitting them with a barrel or by blowing up the TNT near them. Okay. Little scary. I'm gonna get
fought up.
this. Yeah, there we go.
This is one of the levels I saw you did practice before the run, so...
I did, yeah. It doesn't help.
Yeah. That's the lesson today, kids. Don't practice before you do your marathon runs.
There's a cool trick here that I will hopefully get. I'm on green sparks, I didn't want that. Okay,
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
So you charge that at the right time and it breaks the strong chest next to you. That's not supposed to happen. You normally have to go up and
There's
hit a
that barrel up
yeah.
there. Yep.
But it just means we can do this in one pass through.
Yep. Also kills an enemy on the other side of the wall, which makes the gem collection in that place a little bit more smooth as well.
This guy sometimes takes a hit and sometimes doesn't.
I think
I've got
he's
no
sort of
idea why.
swaying back and
Animation.
forth.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, it's a cycle.
So, yeah, if he's in the right position, the radius of the explosion on that third guy will explode that guy's TNT and he'll take a hit.
We did that pretty well in sync there.
Oh, yeah.
So this blue
So
gem
in tune
here
with
would
each
normally
other.
be an enemy, but because I did that trick with the TNT earlier, he's just dead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, doing that without blowing up any of the TNTs is kind of tricky.
It's a similar thing to fireworks chess. If you're flaming the TNT, you have to wait a little bit before it goes off. So if you can, hit them all without doing that, it's obviously faster.
That's just bad luck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Time for a quick donation.
Go ahead, yeah.
We have $40 from Video Game Vibes. It says, first time coming by here and love seeing that us Aussies have our own speedrunning community. Thanks for keeping me company while I work from home. Please put my donation to Skyrim Marriage %.
Thank you.
You made Nace very happy in the background there. Cool. So yeah, a little bit of an awkward level. Yeah, we come to Twilight Harbor, which yeah, can be quite short if you do it well. Hopefully, hopefully it goes well. But
Yeah. The enemies here are a bit of a pain. They shoot you with guns. Or throw grenades at you in some cases as well. I've got 2 lives, I believe, which is the right amount. Because there's 2 death abuses in the route that I do, and that leaves me on 0, which is what I want for the next level. Ah. Ooh.
there is some fodder pretty close by.
Yeah, there's lots of fodder here, so I'm not worried about dying, really.
So these are all dragons that we've already rescued before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but so they...
I say I'm not worried about dying. Get just comboed.
Yeah.
Twilight Harbor experience.
But yeah, so they've all somehow managed to get themselves captured again.
Yeah. Yeah, you the one at the start of the one in Knock Nexus. The first thing Spyro says is, "Didn't I already free you?" Okay, thankfully there's a life up the top of this ramp, so I can get back to 2.
Yeah,
Time for a quick one. Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Time for
sorry.
a quick donation.
Did I miss something?
No, sorry, I just had him going for the donation. Yes, please, go for the donation.
Sorry, we have $10 from Neo_ that says, Dact, will you donate $1 for every 1 treasure you've picked up in this run?
No! No, I don't have $12,000 to spare, I'm sorry. 14,000. Yeah. I made the same mistake they make in the intro cutscene. Taking that damage there is kind of annoying because I really want to be on full health going into the next level. So I'm gonna have to get fodder in the home world, which is a bit of a time waste. These flame charges, where are they gone?
It's that damn flame RNG again.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, now it's the final boss, Nasty Nork.
Yes. You would think that the final boss would take a lot to kill, but no, you just flame him twice.
Yeah, pretty much every boss you flamed, like world boss you flamed 3 times to kill, and you actually have to flame this final boss even less than the level bosses or the other world bosses. So.
But there will be a thing that I do at the end of this level. I hope I get it. It's not too difficult. Like, I'm pretty consistent with it usually, but I've been struggling a little bit in practice. But essentially, when you kill the final boss and you kill Nasty Nork, it activates like an ending cutscene and a set of credits. But there's more stuff we have to do afterwards as a bonus level. There's normally, like, in the game, there's no way to skip the credits. You can't just, like, hit start and skip them. And so we need to do something to prevent them from playing. And the way to do that is when you hit Nasty Nork the last time, it plays a little, like, not really a cutscene, but it takes control away from you while Spyro gloats for a bit, while the gems are homing in. And if you can die during that, it doesn't progress to the ending and the credits, you just respawn.
Yeah.
But you've collected all of Nasty's gems, and you don't need anything else. So you just skip the credits and go on to the next thing.
Yeah. And the reason why Dak wants 0 lives, you can do it with lives as well. But if you die with lives, it'll spawn you at the start of the level, and then you just have to, you know, pause and exit. Whereas if you game over, it'll actually spawn you back in the home world, which ends up being a little bit quicker. So,
for a sec.
but yeah, I'm gonna focus here. So
I didn't get that fodder. Good.
Nice.
Cool.
And then into
yeah,
lava.
really good. Yeah. And the game over as well. Yeah. Considering how low on sparks he was as well. That was,
I said I was going to
clutch.
get fodder before I went in, and I just didn't. I forgot.
Yeah, so the second he flamed Nasty Nork there, he actually lost complete control of Spyro. It's important to know that as well. You can technically die by like falling out of bounds, but if you do that, you actually die too quickly and you don't collect all the gems that Nasty Nork feeds out, like the 425 gems I think it is.
Yeah.
So you actually need to go into the lava to have a death animation long enough to be able to collect all the gems and still have that death at the right time to skip the credits. So.
Yeah, and so that doesn't even really speak to the first part of that trick, which is a proxy, which we've not seen before. Basically in Nork's animation or attack animation, after you get hit because you're invulnerable, you can sort of charge glide into it, and that animation will then sort of throw you upwards, as we saw. You then do a pretty tricky glide around. You've got to pull back to make Spyro pull up a little bit so that his head sort of sticks through the bottom of the floor to then hit Nasty with the flame and glide straight into the lava.
Yeah, and it's important to have yourself lined up, like I said, because you lose control after you flame. You're just sort of a passenger as you go along and just kind of hope you hit the lava, because you have no control the second you hit Nasty. So yeah, but yeah, once you collect 100% of everything, it will open the head to Nasty's loot, and this is the final 20% that's required.
Yeah, time will be in not too long, so just be ready on that. Go for a kind of new strat for this last thief. Camera. Oh, what?
That's wicked though.
I get the feeling that oh yeah, I didn't get the key. Yeah, I was practicing that with the like practice codes that exist, like the Game Shark codes, and I was getting it every time. And then when I try and do it on the actual game, I don't get it. So.
Yeah.
Something up with the practice codes.
Yeah,
or something.
it sounds like I'm just making up excuses, and I probably am.
Slightly better optimization, but yeah, the idea is you want to try and stop the plane, like the thief from flying in the plane. So you sort of fly around against the wall, and then you double back, and then as you get close enough to him, he starts flying, and he just flies directly into your flame. That was a slightly more optimized one than I've seen in the past, but it's annoying if you miss it because that thief is very, very fast. And the backup is what you saw Dak do there. You actually go to
all
a
the way
certain
through
point,
the tunnel,
and then you double
go
back, and then as you come back up to the start, he just sort of flies with your flame again. So,
all right, one last room full of pink gems.
Yep. Yeah, time coming up very soon.
All right. Time in just a sec. And time. Thanks. I didn't check that I had everything before I went in there.
Yeah.
So if I'd missed something, I'd have said time and then had to go back.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got this cutscene at all. So.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone. That was fun.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, next up we've got Paso running Spyro 3, which is very different from this game. It's going to be a completely different kind of run.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely stay tuned for that if you want to see the dichotomy of Spyro runs. Yeah.